5, man. This is European Doom Part 2.
Yes, we are still getting our passports stamped, and we are still in Europe.
Yes, I wanted to pick up Part 2, continuing where we left off with Electric Wizard.
Yeah, man.
So that's from Dope Throne, man. So Dope Throne, that's the album that it's a genre-defining album, as they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dope Throne really put kind of modern doom metal as we know it on the map. This was the album that
Now that was a
shook the world.
title track from that album, right?
Yeah, Dope Throne. Yeah.
Okay. I
What do you
mean,
think?
I can't imagine this song being played on anything but vinyl. You know what I'm saying? It's the perfect vinyl song. You know, I'm just thinking like, could I listen to this on Buds? You know, on an MP3. You know,
No, I'd blow your MP3 player out. Like, just you gotta get that. I don't know, that range, that tone. You know, you can get something like that with a CD, but you know,
it's so wall of sound.
It's a little different, yeah.
It's especially towards the end there, the slow outro breakdown.
Yeah, and you got to hear that on
the wall of
everything. You got to hear
everything.
that on the record, right? You got to hear that on the wax.
Yeah, like you said,
you don't get that from another format.
You said you get the full range. You know, you can spatially arrange things, and it feels like if it's compressed in a digital file, you don't have that just right on top of each other, or it's just kind of like that instead of just in different areas in the headphones. Yeah, no, it's perfect on this medium. Yeah,
there's a lot of effects in the sound there. They're playing with pedals and feedback and reverb and delay and everything, and a lot of that they're just jamming.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of that's not really planned. That they do that a lot in the studio. They'll kind of improvise and jam out a lot,
and then let the sounds, since they're playing that repetitive groove, the sounds just kind of back the reverberation, the feedback. It's got room to bounce back and loop back on itself, you know, and it's still in that groove is keeping it, that underneath groove is kind of keeping it all together, and it lets you, because I found myself spacing out on some of the, not just the, after you hear the groove a few times, you're like, all right, what else is going on here? And then you hear the reverb, and then you hear the phaser, you hear, I thought I heard an organ or two in there, but I don't know what it was. But I found myself focusing on that stuff for a bit, and then I get zoom back into that groove. I'm like, oh shit. You kind of snap back to the groove, even though it's been playing the same way the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought and you get that on the record.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that they had a lot of trouble recording this, trying to get all that down, because they go to a studio, you know, near their hometown.
Sure.
And they're stacking amps and turning everything all the way up and smoking big piles of weed.
Yeah.
And this engineer's like, I don't even know what to do with this, you know, because he's thinking like heavy metal as he understands it.
Right.
And then here come, you know, these three kids, this power trio, bringing that sound, and they were able to get it down, to somehow get all of that.
So you're saying just for this song?
No, for the whole album.
Oh, for the whole album.
Session.
Okay. Okay.
For the whole session, they had the engineer just wasn't quite ready for what they were bringing him.
I can imagine it, just listening to that track. They're asking for a lot of complex. I mean, they might even be complex, but you're dealing with a lot of different sounds, and trying to find room for them, trying to mix them properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and then trying to capture that live.
Yeah, right. Trying to capture that in a session and you know, make a mix out of it. They really like to record analog, so a lot of this is on tape.
On tape, yeah.
So they want to get it, you know, right.
I mean, this the full tape to record. You know, it's the full pipeline.
Yeah,
you know?
They're a very kind of analog band. You know, they use a lot of vintage equipment and all tube amps and no digital effects or anything like that. It's all what they can do with those old
line
pedals.
sixes with the.
I don't think so.
Click,
no.
click, click. All right, metal sound.
Yeah,
all right,
right.
let's go.
Yeah, you're not going to get that from Electric Wizard.
Yeah.
So this is the first version of Electric Wizard, like the early version.
Right.
Okay, this is the original power trio.
Right.
You might say original. Some people say the original Electric Wizard, but so this was the three kids from a little town in south of England, just kind of rural, like kind of a country town.
Yeah, yeah.
And these guys were
with nothing else to do.
So they're watching horror movies and playing guitar and smoking dope and raising hell, and fucking recording records, and so this one right here was their, I think it was their third or fourth. So they'd
with
recorded
this lineup, yeah.
with this lineup, yeah, and they had recorded all those records together, and then they put one more out together as this lineup after this one. Then they broke up, or reformed.
Right.
Into
Well, yeah, some members left, and he was like, I don't want to end the project, so he keeps it going.
Yeah. So and you can hear the difference in the sound of the two.
Yeah, if you watched
bands
our last,
effectively, yeah,
watched our last show, that closing song.
Yeah.
You can tell. I mean, obviously, because it's not a power trio anymore.
Yeah.
But it's a different. It's the same. It's a different flavor for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a yeah. So how do you describe that? How would you, since someone who is coming from the outside into this, what would you say about the two versions here? You've heard this is like their song on their record. This is what Electric Wizard is best known for, is
Right.
this, and then there's Electric Wizard 2,
Right.
which is the current lineup, and they've put out a lot of albums together like that too. It's just
Yeah.
a slightly different sound. What do you think?
I mean, to put it as simple as possible, the doom level. I felt the doom right above my head with this lineup. On the other one, the roof, it's a little higher up. It's not as impending doom as this.
Yeah, this has got an edgier, angrier sound.
Yes.
Yeah, this is definitely three angry young men in the studio
Right.
taking out their angst on the world, and the current lineup just has a different punch.
Yeah. No, and it's sludgier.
Yeah.
This version.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The tuning are lower here. They're playing in like drop A and B flat. And,
Okay.
They're playing really low tunings. I think now they were playing in drop C.
Right.
So, and they play these old songs in the new tuning. So
Okay.
they have they sound a little bit brighter.
Right.
So, and with the two guitars, that works really well.
Yeah.
The layering the effects and everything. That's
Obviously, with two guitars, you're gonna have a little bit more lead rhythm dynamic.
Right.
And in that one, it's just kind of it's just the guitars going along with the rhythm section. It's all kind of one big rhythm section.
right. Yeah. Right.
So when you hear some extra leads in there that aren't just completely, you lose a third of the rhythm section, so you can feel that drop off. But when
Right.
a lead kind of kicks in and the rhythm section is still just as tight
Mhm.
and full, that's the difference. Is what I hear with the new lineup.
Yeah. Cool.
It's like when that solo drops in. Because I know there was a few. I mean, I couldn't even tell you when the solo happened here, because it was just it didn't just drop in like some solos do.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's kind of got this. It kind of comes up, and sort of rises into the mass.
Right.
of
Because it dropped out of the regular groove that you're
Yeah.
used to hearing. So, but with that, or with the new lineup, when there's a second guitar player, it just kind of there's no drop in the groove. It just the solo shows up.
Right. Yeah. The rhythm's still going. and
Yeah,
there's a
yeah. It
solo.
doesn't really take a skip, or you don't really notice, because when that guitar drops out of that groove on a 3-piece,
Yeah,
you can
hear it.
tell.
Yeah, you can
of
hear
course.
it.
And it's just a difference. It's just a difference in style. Probably
Yeah.
play a little faster too with this new lineup. I don't know. That's all I can remember from the last time, because it was a live performance
Mhm.
that we listened to then. So maybe that made a difference. It feels like the new lineup plays a little faster.
Yeah.
But,
Some of the songs are a little faster, but
Right.
Electric Wizard, for the most part, is that down tempo. Slow, loud,
Right.
distorted.
Right.
Yeah.
No. So what was there anything particular about this album that made it?
Well, I think it was all these amazing things come together on that record.
Yeah.
There's the sound, there's the groove. It's catchy,
Right.
and it's deeply rooted in the blues, but it's nasty.
Right.
And it's
right.
massive and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ugly and emotional, and it's just a really interesting coming together of all of these things, and for fucking this style, it just works.
Right. Yeah.
And with their previous efforts, it's like they had been kind of building to this,
Okay.
as
Right.
a band musically. with the songs. Like the songs are better. They're better written on this record.
Sure.
They're the band is really matured and really kind of coming together.
Right.
So this is just a record where the idea really just gels.
Okay.
Just locks in.
Because we're gonna hear a lot from this band throughout.
Oh yeah,
the show,
yeah.
So
And they've had
yeah.
yeah. So you know, speaking of that, they have other records with the current lineup where things really lock in like magic and come together. It kind of took them a minute with
the new lineup.
Yeah, for that to kind of start working, and it's just my opinion, but you know, to kind of answer your question in a long way, yeah, that's because all those things work on this record.
Yeah.
And the record after this, not so much, and then they reformed, and that one, it's got some awesome, we got some amazing things happening on there, but the whole thing just doesn't work the way that this one does. It took them a while to get back to that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're kind of even reforming, because I think I read when I was doing some research on these guys, the lead writer, he was happy with having a writing partner again.
Yeah.
Because the other guy was his main writing partner.
Yeah.
That helped him a lot out with the songwriting. So that can only, even if you're happy to have that new partner, you're still going to take some time to get to where you two are putting out your best stuff.
Right. And then finding a rhythm section to back you up that you can
exactly.
That's doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And they've never really worked with the same lineup since then. So the drummer on this record's a guy named Mark Greening. So Mark played, you know, Classic Electric Wizard original lineup, and he also came back to do one more record with the new lineup, and there was actually a delay in getting that one released because they couldn't agree on what he was supposed to be paid or what he was owed or what they had agreed on. And there was some dispute about that, so the record was delayed several months before it finally came out. And you know, I don't think they really get along very much anymore. So yeah, it's the new. Say it's new because they've been together. That lineup, the new line. I keep saying a new lineup. It's so the current lineup has been together since the like 2006 or 2005.
Wow. Okay. So yeah,
2004, somewhere around there. So for they've been playing together for 20 years. Liz and Just.
Yeah.
And Mark and Tim haven't played with them, and you know, as a band and since before that.
Yeah.
Just when Mark came back and played on that one record, but
have they been together longer than the first lineup, or about the same?
I think longer, because they were together for the first lineup. I think they were together for like 14 years.
Jeez, that's
a really long time. Yeah, and you know, they were kids when they formed the band and put out their first record, and they didn't quite get the sound that they wanted in the studio. And then the second record is when they really kind of opened up, and they kind of learned who they were as a band and were starting to write the kind of songs that they really wanted to play. And then they put this one out. And this is the one that just changed everything.
All right.
Yeah.
So So speaking of changing everything, are we staying in the UK?
No. So next we're going. Let me check. So this is Loose Sutures. They're on Electric Valley. They're from Italy.
Italy returns.
And we are returning to Italy. So Italy is pretty fucking doomed, man.
Okay, now
going
we're
on
going.
Down there.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This is a cover I can get behind.
Yeah, check that out.
And in front of.
This band's great. They got a fuzzy, almost kind of a grungy vibe, like a grungy party vibe.
This cover looks like a party.
Yeah.
And I just read the name too.
Yeah. So you're sure gonna hear some of that. You're gonna hear doom and psychedelic, and you're gonna hear, but they're very much. It's very tongue in cheek. Yeah, it's a lot like Ball.
Yes.
A lot like Ball, and because they just love to have fun.
It's like
they do not take themselves seriously.
I can see the 70s callback.
Yeah.
But it still looks new. You know? It's like it's got the edge and crispness of this nice type font, and it's very purposeful. When you think of the 70s, there's like, just put it there and put it there. This is very well thought out, and very, you know, it's It's very no. I like this cover a lot.
Did you see the back?
Well, yeah, with the mask and the
And the
oh, I
heels.
didn't see the boot. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and the heels. Now the question is that her heel or is it someone else's heel? That'd be very interesting if it were the same.
It's
Or her
sadosex for
heel.
dummies, man. It's for dummies.
So it's somebody else's
Yeah.
heel. Keep
Yeah.
it simple.
Okay, you want to check them
All
out?
right.
Here
Yeah.
we go.
Which track? Well, I see the two. These are
Okay,
probably
let me-
easier to pronounce.
Oh man, I'm just gonna go with A1. This is Highway Shooter.
All right. First track.
Highway Shooter,
Let's hear
Loose Sutures, Sadosex for Dummies. Here we go.
So yeah, party vibes for sure.
Totally, man. Just like
Just a groove, man. Just a
Yeah.
really fun groove. You know, doom level, low. It's weird because I want to say because when I'm saying doom level, it's like how on top of me is it? The impending doom is right here, so
okay.
that's low. But when you're given an indicator, low usually is okay. But for my doom level indicator, low is heavy, because it's right here. This is doom level high, because I'm having some fun with this doom. It's not right there, and it's a groove, man. It's a party.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, that's the cover says so. There's some babes, even though there's, Satan Jr. here.
There's fucking babes and snakes.
Yeah.
And
it's fun. It's a party.
Dude, everyone's having a great time
Yes.
with this record. So that's what I was saying. Like, it's just like ball. I mean, they got signs. They have song titles such as Sadism and Gallows, White Line.
Okay, wonder what that is.
Kinky Katie.
Wonder who she is.
Cowboy from Hell.
I know who he is.
Nope. Cowbell from Hell.
Okay, more of it too.
Black Star Flashing.
Okay.
Electric Valley Records. They're putting out some crazy stuff, man.
So not as much overt occult.
No, yeah, like
with this band.
Yeah, compare that to like Cancervo from last week.
Yeah.
If we're saying that one right too,
Cancervo.
We might be saying, oh my God, the emails and the ats that we're gonna get.
Just help
everybody
us out.
from around the world yelling at us. Just be polite when you correct us.
There you go. That's all we ask.
About how shit's pronounced. We're from a certain part of the country where we just speak a certain way.
If you can't tell, we're probably gonna get those guesses too. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, everyone's gonna think we're from Biloxi or something. We're not from Biloxi.
We're not from anywhere.
Many fine folks are, but we are
just not two.
Just not us.
But so yeah, anyway. A lot of fun's being had here.
Yeah, everyone's having a great time, man.
and so yeah, I was gonna say the cover. And we're back to okay. Well, I guess you might have some blur sessions coming up, but
oh yeah, well that one's not blurred, and that one's on the YouTube, right? So we can put this one up.
2, 4. I count 6 nipples. No, I count 5 nipples, and 5 nipples there. So yes, okay.
There's 6 boobs, but 5 nipples.
Yeah, because the chick on the bottom
is
hiding.
Hiding. Yeah,
she's
hiding behind that guy's leg.
Yeah, she's trying to keep it away from us. And you can't clearly see that other nipple, but I'm going to count it anyway.
You should count it.
I'm officially counting.
There's enough boob that you can count the nipple.
That was my calculation, yes. So, yeah.
I swear to God, we're adults.
Well, I mean, adults put this out. Adults make this.
Grown men.
Yes.
Grown Italian men put this perverted-ass fucking record out.
And the only difference is they're Italian and we're not. We're not exactly, but it's so Italy clearly has. I mean, this probably
they got some doom issues, and there are a bunch of pervs out there.
Well, they have no problem.
According to their album covers.
They have no problem with sex. I mean, just like that's the thing with Europe, right?
They're a little looser and freer out there.
Yeah,
they
got no problem.
They like to just Then again, I don't know. We're Americans. We're pretty fucking perverted too. We're some deviant ass.
We don't put it on the record covers, though. That's the only difference. Not like this. Well, not as often.
I don't know, man. We might have to do like a Venn diagram, and we have to get out like the old slide rule, and
when we
do a serious statistical analysis on how perverted American album covers are compared to European album covers.
Depends on how much boob is showing.
The South American stuff was pretty fucking perverted too. I think the overall worldwide doom scenario is just a bunch of pervs.
Probably. They're not hiding it though. That's the
thing. Not at all. They're out in the open about what they are into, what they want to do,
how they get down,
what they want to see. Fuck down, man. They party in hell.
No, there's no hiding it. And I like how they add the super fuzz. This kind of stuff makes it the tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, hey, we're not taking it
rated
so
R
seriously.
And the little, I mean that's super fuzz, rated R, stereo. It's a fine presentation.
Is this now? I'm obviously gauging the. I don't know what this was the year this was released, but obviously it has to be after a certain time.
This is recently. This was
with the title.
23.
Okay. Because I mean that's the idea. We're gonna make this look like it was released in the 70s.
Oh, straight up, yeah. That's a very doom thing.
Yeah,
it's very doom.
So it's hard to mark, when actually it was released because there's certain album covers.
In the 70s.
Yeah. Well, you can't peg it to right now because you're like, I know this didn't come out in the 70s, but
no,
when?
right?
It's a good move. I think it's a good move. Like it does, because people could probably look at certain CD covers and go like, "Oh, I can tell."
Oh yeah, that's very 2003.
Exactly, and they're a year or two off.
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
No, you can't do that with this unless you know exactly when they released
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, this could be 68, or it could be 85, or it could be
23.
2023.
So, all right, did you come across this as from a label or just checking out Italy?
Yeah,
in general?
man. Found out about Electric Valley Records.
So, okay.
That's the amazing record that drops all this insane Italian music with the perverted ass covers. Is Electric Valley. You guys, there they are right there. You guys got to check them out. Follow them on the socials. They got a lot of titles.
Nice.
And it's all great stuff.
Yeah.
It's all good. I wish I could grab up the whole catalog. And,
right.
You know.
And just offer them here. Yeah, because once again, probably not a lot of spins for this band.
No, yeah,
unless you're
these
fans.
bands, this label over here on this side of the pond,
Yeah.
you know, I don't hear about it. You know, people aren't talking about it.
I mean, this is the underground of the underground, right?
It kind of is. This is like the
yeah.
international underground. Heavy sounds from the international underground is what we got here on this show.
Yeah, and you're not going to hear it pretty much anywhere. I mean, obviously, we find it on YouTube, but you got to know the name. You got to know it already.
Yeah, you got to know it. You got to know it.
Yeah. Great record, great band, Loose Sutures from Italy. And I got Italy's run away with it, so I'm just going to assume we're staying in Italy.
Let's see who's next. Let's take a look in my little box.
The Italy scene is kind of killing it, man.
Oh, no, we are totally changing shit up.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Lunar Funeral from Russia.
Ah, do svidaniya.
Yeah, this is our only Russian band on the list.
Okay.
I don't know if they're imports from Russia or currently banned or what, but so this band is on Helter Skelter Records, which also puts out Mephistopheles.
Okay.
So that's how I found out about them, was following that label.
All right.
This is really cool stuff. This is probably more along the lines of like it's got some kind of shoegaze in it, and a little bit of shoegaze. You know,
why does that sound familiar?
Shoegaze, you know, like staring at your shoes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Kind of music.
Yeah.
Cold,
okay.
rainy day.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of kind of goth.
I don't know why I was thinking of a guitar sound or like reverb or something.
Yeah, shoegaze would have a whole lot of reverb in it and would be, you know. So it's got a kind of a shoegazy vibe.
Okay.
Kind of a goth vibe, and a little bit of like a, you know, psychobilly, like Reverend Horton Heat. There's a little bit of that kind of spiced in there.
All right.
And then a good amount of Sabbath worship as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So really interesting band.
Now, contemporary band or from back in the day?
No, contemporary band.
Okay.
This record, well, I got it a couple of years ago, so I'm not sure. It was released within the past 5 years. But
we're back there again.
But if you don't give a shit about this and that and what have you,
yeah,
you know, fuck it. It's an awesome fucking album. It's a great fucking band. They've got several records out. I believe Helter Skelter has all of them currently.
It's a pretty sweet cover,
pressed.
though, man. It's a pretty dope ass cover.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
I mean, it's very heavy. You can, once again, is the cover giving me a good indication of how heavy I'm about to get?
Well, these guys don't really go into metal territory so much. It's more of a goth rock shoegaze, but with some Sabbath riffage in there.
Okay. Well,
so
I mean,
it's interesting.
But
it's different. It's going to be kind of the oddball of all the stuff that we're playing. The oddball of all the odd stuff. Check them out.
Okay. Do we have an album name or title name?
This song is
track name?
This is the title track from the record. This is Sex on a Grave.
All right. There's no mystery degeneracy there. It's just straight mystery to that degeneracy.
If people are fucking animals on these album covers, and then this is some necro. What you call it? Necrophilia?
Well,
God, everyone's a fucking pervert in the doom scene, man. I'm telling you, man. A bunch of fucking degenerates and pervs.
It's not saying who's alive. Maybe they're both alive.
I think
it didn't say sex
I think
on a
it's
grave.
obvious she loves that skeleton.
And that skeleton's dead.
Under the full moon.
Yeah. Okay, so it's necrophilia.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
The boys from Russia.
Yeah. What'd you think, man, of that Lunar Funeral?
I would have never guessed they were from Russia. That would have been the last guess. But pretty cool, man. I heard the psychobilly that you mentioned in there.
There was a little bit in there. Yeah, their
it's in
song's
there.
got a bit of a tinge to that. It'll kind of come and go there.
Yes, yeah.
And the goth rock shoegaze kind of thing.
And then I heard it because it's that big wong, that kind of like it's pretty present. Yeah.
Lots of reverb. Lots and lots of reverb, man. They love that reverb.
Even in the vocals, which I've always, I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of trial and error, but I was like, it's pretty brave, man, to have that as is that his vocal styling for all the songs or like that, or is it just this one song?
No, he sings like that pretty much on
and I
all
mean,
the tracks, yeah.
Just like that's how I'm gonna sing and write and be able to make that work. I'm sure you do it long enough, you figure it out, but I'm just like, all right, it's pretty fucking brave, just go for it. That's how I'm gonna sing.
So in the record, they're credited as just being a two-piece.
Yeah, I saw that in the picture. Yeah,
yeah. I guess they're all playing multiple instruments, and the two of them are playing multiple instruments. To pull that off.
No, that is impressive sound.
Yeah,
for
big
two
sound
piece.
from two people. Yeah,
you get that live too, probably. I
wonder.
Yeah,
I wonder if they
about,
play live.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Talk about bands you're probably never gonna get to see.
Yeah, no shit. We'll probably not be seeing Lunar Funeral play in the U.S. I don't know. Then again, with what's his face and the other guy being like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, sure enough. That's fair enough.
Could open up a whole new cultural exchange.
Could be like, come on. It'd be weird if this band plays before some of the South American bands.
Man, fucking A. That'd be fucked up, man. That'd be seriously fucked up. If
that would be very
if Lunar Funeral gets to come play before
Not that we don't want them to come.
Before we can get Weed Snake up here.
Yeah.
No, I would love to see Lunar Funeral play. That'd be fucking cool. But if they got to get here before Weed Snake because of some shit.
It'd be very strange.
Because it's fucking motherfuckers and their shit. I'm just cussing because I don't want to get too specific about
No need to get
stuff.
specific.
This is not the one where we get all riled up about
that
shit.
That comes much later.
Later on.
But so these guys hopefully now they got to come now. So
after we talked them up, they better fucking figure it out. That'd be rad to see Lunar Funeral. Great band, great fucking record.
How do you come across such a deep foreign product?
Yeah, how do I find something as obscure as this? Man, following the label.
Okay.
Helter Skelter.
Okay.
Helter Skelter Productions is I guess that's like the umbrella company. They have some labels underneath them.
Right.
It's kind of doom stuff on this one, hardcore on this one, black metal stuff on this one, kind of thing.
Subgenred out.
Yeah, really cool stuff. So if you're into super duper obscure metal stuff,
yes,
Helter Skelter Productions is the place to check out. They've got they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so a large catalog.
from some dark corners in Europe. Let me
Okay.
just drop that.
Okay.
Okay. And that is not an endorsement of such
darkness.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got it on the shelf over there.
Right.
So
I mean, it's there. Anyone can find it.
Any-
You just happen to put the two words together that help you to find it.
they got the thing there, and it's just so, but they got all kinds of great stuff.
So what made you? I mean, had you come across them before, or what made you?
No, I let me.
Such a large catalog.
I think Helter Skelter announced the repress. This one, I think this is a repress.
Right.
And I went and checked them out. Went to their Bandcamp page, looked them up, listened to some stuff. I was like, oh, this is really cool. This has got a real. It's got a really cool vibe to it. It's got this vintage, reverb. Reminds me of like I was saying, kind of like goth rock in some ways. It's got some shoegaze, and there's some Led Zeppelin in there. There's some Sabbath in there.
Right.
There's even some psychobilly.
Yeah,
Reverend Horton Heat shit going on.
They definitely
listen to the whole record. You'll hear a lot more of that too.
Right.
The whole fucking album, start to finish, is just really cool.
Nice.
So I just found that band and just another cool little discovery, from around the world. There's just so much amazing stuff happening out there, and it's awesome to be able to find it, and that it's on wax. Right. I can buy this.
Well, yeah. Instead of streaming it.
I'm not streaming this on my phone. We're kicking it. We're listening to this fucking great record. They got a bunch of stuff on. All their stuff, everything they have a release of, they've got an LP with multiple variants, colors, and they're going to have a CD.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a cassette.
Oh, wow.
So they're
form.
such a really cool that they're able to do that, to put everything out on
so
a
they've done that for multiple
version.
releases.
Yeah, for all kinds of stuff. For everything that they've put out, they've got multiple variants, multiple versions in different formats.
Different
and this
media
is really
formats.
cool. Yeah.
So, all right, I think we were saying, all right, so before this, it was loose sutures, right?
Yeah, loose sutures from Italy.
And, okay, that now I remember.
Lunar Funeral from Russia.
What makes you say, because you said this is kind of the oddball out of all this, what out of that, now I'm listening to it, I see the oddball, but not, what makes you think that it's the oddball?
What I like about the band, or what I find different about this band, is that they're not a metal band.
Okay. Yeah.
But because of their overall tone and style, I think that they kind of fit into the large umbrella
absolutely
of under doom. It's not doom metal, it might be more doom rock.
Yes. Yeah.
It's got a rock vibe, but all these elements they're bringing from other styles are like the heavy parts.
Right.
They're bringing like the heavy part of shoegaze, the heavy part of psychobilly, and
and the way they
heavy
do the
part
vocals.
of goth.
Yeah.
And they've, like I said, there's some amplifier worship, some Sabbath worship going on in there, right? And so that's why I bring them into this area.
So they've tweaked.
To this
they've
discussion.
They've tweaked the recipe a little bit more than the previous bands we've kind of listened to so far. Yeah, they've got a different approach to the elements that keep it within the Doom family.
Yeah, really cool, isn't it? A really fucking kick-ass band. Love some Lunar Funeral.
Very cinema, I think I said earlier.
Right.
Like it could, previous to Loose Sutures as well. It could be a 70s soundtrack. And,
you could totally hear it like some David Lynch movie or something.
For sure, absolutely.
Someone's driving around in a convertible at night trying to figure some horrible shit out. Listen to some backwards riddle, and they got Lunar Funeral.
And the
playing.
name to match too.
Yeah, right.
Let's hope those guys are still around. So anyway, I guess all right. We're glad that Russia's made an appearance, but I have a feeling that's going to be our last stop.
That was our last band from Russia, man.
Yeah.
Our one and only band.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting country to explore their music scene more.
Yeah.
But
that could be its own thing.
Things being the way they are.
Yeah.
It's okay to hold off on that for a while, I think.
Make sure
be okay. Yeah. So
I think we'll know exactly when we can do that.
Yeah, it'll be a while, but that'll we'll get to that eventually, I think. Yeah.
They're not going out well. The records aren't going anywhere. Let's hope for that.
Let's hope for that.
All right. So,
all right, we ready?
Coming up next.
This is our first French band. So, this is a band called Modulator II.
Nice.
And they're not really a doom metal band either, but they've got this massive wall of sound.
Okay.
That is very much, and it's real big, heavy riffs, but it's not.
So
it's not metal. It's more of a punk, hardcore, noise punk.
Okay.
Noise core.
This will be a good comparison to the first Electric Wizard.
Yes.
Their wall of sound.
But check out that wax. That is fucking gorgeous. That is a beautiful fucking record.
Is there a piece, is there pieces of it inside the cover on the inside? Oh, that's just how the cover looks. That's just the insert. Or
the label. Yeah, check
that's the cover.
Check the cover.
Yeah, it's on the label.
The cover's really kick-ass.
Yeah.
Here, check it out.
So, this is an alien planet. This is the surface of an
alien
alien
what do you
planet.
think, man? Check it out. So, you got to put it up on the monitor because what's going on in this thing?
Here, take that part of it.
You've got mushrooms and like crystals, and there's an eye and skulls.
That's a cat. That's a I bet that's a cat.
That's such a badass cover. Silvered Hearse is the name of the album.
All right, cool. First track.
Yeah, it's called The Big Crunch.
All right.
So we're going to listen to The Big Crunch from Modulator II. noisecore.
Okay, so
Doom punk. Doom.
It's funny that you say doom punk. There was a band called Bread and Water that used to play with my old band, 10% Effort, and at the put these on correctly, and yeah, they were a little bit more screamo with the vocals. Definitely not psychedelic vocals.
Yeah.
But they were wall of noise. They were a 2-piece, just kind of getting in the groove and then breaking it up with the screamo lyrics. But what I heard there, and I'm curious what you think about it. I heard a little bit of that when we did the history, that Iron Butterfly kind of in there.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. I'm like, I guess it feels very 60s, heavily.
Absolutely, they're going for that vintage analog vibe.
Like more, like
very overdriven. Yeah.
They hit it more than everybody else who's been so far going for that old sound.
Yeah, big noisy garage kind of sound.
Yeah, they mixed it very well. The sound, whatever vintage sound that they went for, or the way they arranged the instruments, or the instruments with the amps and the mix. No, they nailed it. Yeah.
I'm surprised this band doesn't get more attention than they do. Fucking, another one of those bands, they never played over here.
Sure.
They probably won't. They're not real big in their home country.
Yeah.
They're not a big band. It's just they're on Stolen Body Records. That's another great record label out of Europe. They've put some stuff out from Mexico.
Okay.
And fucking everything that they drop is just awesome. Stolen Body Records. So that's another great label everyone should check out. But I'm just surprised that. I mean, this is an awesome album, start to finish. It's noisy. It's fucking loud. It's in your face. It's got these just great tones. Great sonics?
Does it stay as
really
psychedelic?
Cool. Oh yeah. I mean, it's trippy as hell.
Yeah, the cover and vibe definitely check.
Look at the back cover.
Yeah, when you said mushrooms, I was like, okay, mushrooms.
Yeah, this is some weird mushroom rock. But I think that it's got some doom flavor.
Oh, absolutely.
With the big sound and the chunky riffs, and it's just got that. I think he's playing through his guitar with single coil pickups.
Yeah.
So he's not getting that crunch on his guitar, but he's still getting those big nasty riffs.
And once again, the bravery to sing with that heavy reverb on the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
very Stooges.
Yeah. I mean,
I get a very Stooges vibe from this band.
It's got to be. I mean, like I said, just like the last band, trial and error. But how do you even pull that off live? I'm sure you figure it out after a while. But to go from the start, this is how we're gonna do this, and they're like, all right, we'll figure this out. I find it I mean, from someone who just wanted to plug in and just fucking turn up the gain, and that's it. That's my effects. It's just like, man, I wish I had. It's probably a lot more interesting to try shit like that when you're playing live.
Yeah, and to be able to get that on the record, to go into the studio and get a loud sound out of your studio session. Yeah. Because it's not easy to record loud amps.
Right.
It's really not. And
without getting too much fuzz.
Yeah, without getting like just straight up distortion in the mic, where the mic is just overblown.
Yeah.
And the signal is just unusable. Unless that's what you're fucking going for. I guess it's
some very experimental.
Yeah, we like to fucking destroy the mic.
But they do shit where they'll turn the amps to face the wall.
Oh yeah,
and
it's really cool that you can just get this sound.
And the mic's got to be on the other side of the room, just kind of just taking it all in as much as it can.
It's got to be on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
So you got to tune up half a step. So that when you record on the other side of the wall,
the wall takes it back down.
It does.
To the proper
the wall brings it down a step, so you have to compensate.
That's fucking there you go, mixing 101. You learn everything here on the cast. So these guys, okay. So we have back to the artwork. We have the other this is one of the few covers that have been other than Dope Throne was bong in hand.
Yeah,
right. But this one was another direct
Straight
call out to the other pillar,
right?
The drugs pillar,
mushrooms and other drugs.
And I mean, I'm sure if you break that crystal down and snort it, it takes you exactly to where that vortex is going.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. You are not going to remain on planet Earth for long. if you spin this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's interesting because this obviously they put this up front. A lot of bands choose to put the sex part up front. A lot of bands try to put the occult up front, and
These
it's an
guys are
arms race.
These guys are like, no, drugs,
Yeah.
mushrooms.
Yeah. Very interesting cover. Oh yeah, if everybody can see it up there. And it's like, look, we're not leaving the occult behind. There's a few skulls in there.
Right, they've got some death is present, rebirth, and you've got your outer space theme.
Oh, this is a meteorite, probably an asteroid.
Oh, this thing's like hurtling out there in
It's
space
gotta
somewhere.
be. Yeah, that's a galaxy, and I see that now.
Coming towards you.
That's heading straight towards the Milky Way.
Oh fuck!
It's heading straight for us. All right, this is a newer. I'm guessing this is a newer band. We listen to mostly contemporary bands.
I got this in like 2020, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, 2020. Stolen Body. There it is.
I think it's interesting. Only reason I probably thought this because you told me where they were from, but that groove was the most. It was the most. It's the different. It was very marching bandish, but not in a bad way. And I was like, is that the French national march or anthem or something? It sounded French. I don't know what it was.
Sounded French to you?
Yeah, it kind of did. Just kind of that.
They might appreciate that.
I know. I don't know. Well, hopefully they do. It's not a diss or anything, or it's definitely not a slight.
We're Americans. They think everything we say.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't matter what I say.
Ignorant. Yeah.
But it's. I don't know. I don't know what it reminded. And like I said, I probably wouldn't have thought that. You inceptioned me, I guess. If I probably would have thought that if they were from France. But probably after you would have said that, oh, by the way, this band's from France, I'd be like, no wonder they had that dun 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 dun. I don't know what it is. Maybe it reminds me of a French circus or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's very, very, very French.
It could be like, yeah, this is the traditional French groove.
Oh, that is not how French people talk. Oh, my God. We're going to get added for that one and emailed. I can already envision.
But I was like,
it's
a fucking cool way to bring that part of themselves in. And I was just like, or that French heritage in. It was like, God damn, they really got it in there, even on the first riff, because this is the first track, right? Or no.
Yeah, this first track.
First track.
Yeah.
So yeah, even more reason probably it is some kind of French groove, maybe some French jazz groove or blues lick that they turned into their doom song. All right, well.
So you dug it, huh? You dug Modulator II. Good
absolutely,
stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's because I know Sutures was kind of psychedelic, but this was very, very psychedelic, and I appreciated that part. All right, so now that I've properly pissed off the French, which is not hard to do apparently, are we?
Well, we're actually
we're gonna stay in France.
We're gonna stay in France.
Oh
man.
boy,
we got one more from France coming up here.
Okay, so
Are you ready for this?
Don't hate me, the French people. Another Stolen Body Records label?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a band called Slift, Slift.
All right.
They're from somewhere in France. I'm not going to try and find the town. I'm not going to bother with it.
Not that important.
So this is a really, really cool record. So this is from the Levitation Sessions, and if I'm sure a lot of our listeners out there are familiar with the Levitation Sessions. Levitation is a festival in Austin every year.
Oh, okay.
And they bring it's kind of psychedelic bands is kind of their emphasis.
Why the levitation? Yeah. That's how they're levitating.
And they put out these session records with the band, where the band will come in, record a live session.
Okay.
And then they put the wax out. So this is a really, really cool one. So this is the one. This was actually recorded during the pandemic. They did a lot of live streams where the band would play live on the web.
Right.
And you could buy a ticket and get the record.
Nice.
And
buy a ticket to the stream.
Yeah, buy a ticket to the stream, and then you get the code. And so I got to watch this stream as they were recording this record.
Nice.
And get the pre-sale for this
for the vinyl. Yeah.
So this is really, really fucking cool. So they always try and do something for the sessions where the band plays somewhere cool. Some of them will play like out in a parking lot. Some of them will play in some old barn. Some of them will play in their practice room. Whatever
For the stream.
Yeah. So Slift played inside of this big electron microscope.
Nice.
Which is somewhere in France, and it's like a big. I don't know if it's aluminum or stainless steel, but it looks like fucking Professor Xavier's Cerebro.
Cerebro.
That's what the motherfucker looks like.
I see. Oh yeah, it does.
That big thing behind him is like the thing that powers up the
they let them
electron
play
microscope.
In there?
They played in there. There's a picture of it on the back, like what the building looks like.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's this big dome structure. So they had to set up special microphones, and because it's a metal room.
Yeah.
So you go turn your 100-watt amp up in there, and it's going gang.
Yeah.
So they had to bring in special microphones to be able to record in that room.
That's crazy.
A live, loud-ass rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Like Slift. Just a sound engineering feat. And then stream it live.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So this was a really cool thing that you were able to do. See, it says Austin, Texas right there. Check it out.
So the levitation sessions were always the bands in a different location. It's not where people are going to watch them. And they never did that, right? Where they actually played in front of an audience. They were always just kind of playing.
No, they've So Levitation puts on concerts down in Austin. They put on a festival, and during the pandemic, they did these.
They switched over to this.
They did the live streams.
Okay.
Where the bands played live, but they've been putting out special recordings of the bands of their performances for a long time.
Okay.
It's a staple of Levitation, and they're these great packages. They're just gorgeous. Usually a double record, always colored with some splatter.
Nice.
Got the nice gatefold here. That's really
so a full picture
cool.
of the
of the thing
on the inside.
It's like a reflection of it.
Oh, so it is mirrored on the bottom half.
Yeah, something.
You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty trippy.
Yeah,
very fitting with the band's sound. Very
mirrored.
So this is I guess we've kind of been on an oddball run here. The Slift is not really a doom metal band.
Okay.
They're more like space rock, super psychedelic space rock, but they'll bring it down and hit you with some powerful ass fucking Sabbath riffs.
Okay.
So they deserve to be, played.
So it's a 3-piece, but it's 2 guitars.
No, guitar, bass, drums.
Oh, he's playing the bass. Okay.
I think he's got like a short scale.
He's got an SG. He's got an SG bass. That's what threw me off.
Okay.
And the other guy's playing an SG.
So he plays an SG with one single coil.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
Pretty weird.
Oh, okay. I see that. So this is the bass player over here. Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's a great place to play. They probably loved that. All right. Which track we hit?
Okay, we're going to play the first one.
Aman?
Yeah.
Aman
or Uman.
Uman. All right. Slift.
Here we go. Slift. This was Levitation Sessions live. What'd you think of Slift, man?
Yeah, after that, okay, I see the space rock. I see the very technical, the very angular guitar play. The angular sound to it. The drums, man, really stand out on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's some great rock percussion.
They are invited to the party. They're not just so, hey, you just play this beat. While we just hold the groove down. But he does hold the groove down. But he's adding a lot of stuff in there, really cool stuff.
Yeah, more of a jazz approach than metal.
Yes. Yeah. They kind of remind me of this band I listen to a lot called At the Drive-In. And I guess they're considered post-hardcore, post-punk.
Yeah. And
those guys turned into Mars Volta, which is very experimental, long grooves. They probably know the guys from that.
Oh, I'm sure
probably are very aware of several of these bands. Because I think they're, I would guarantee it. But yeah, I could hear a lot of those, especially in those jams and the way the solo was kind of augmented between that very in front solo and then stepping it down in those in betweens.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. That stood out a lot.
Yeah.
Playing with the volume, I guess, of the overall instrument.
Yeah.
And then bringing it down and then bringing it back up for that one part.
Yeah.
Cycling between those two.
Fucking really dynamic for a power trio, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hell of a racket.
Yeah. A lot of different sounds.
Yeah.
And being recorded in that sounded great. Sounded like in a studio.
It sounded pretty good. I could hear a lot of the extra chorus that the room was providing.
Yeah.
But that just adds to the effect.
Well, yeah. Instead of doing an overdub, you just it's
just
recording
in a big metal room, and it'll bounce right back.
You don't need extra guitar tracks. You're literally making them right there.
Yeah. Fucking so really, really cool record. Really, really cool thing they did. So did you hear the Doom element in there?
Absolutely.
Just a little bit.
Even though this is probably the most different band out of we played for this whole session, which is a great way to close things off.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most different. They're light years away from what we started off with Electric Wizard.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yet but yes, I can still hear it in
there.
Yeah,
there's still a little bit of that core in there, right?
Yeah. I mean, the loudness helps. That playing loud and then hitting that groove over and over, getting back to that, not being afraid to sitting in that pocket for a while.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're not afraid to do that, then that's a big part of it.
Not all their songs are heavy like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are just really just out there. Really psychedelic and trippy and fun and kind of lofty sounding. And
would you say that's the most vocals that they use? Or is it kind of the same amount throughout?
I'd say there's a pretty good mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. This song, I think this song's probably pretty vocal heavy.
Yeah.
Despite it's really long and you got a long solo in there, but a lot of the songs just there'll be a whole lot of instrumentation for a long time, then they'll come back and sing a few lines and then go back to instrumentation. Right. So just a really, really interesting band all around.
And then
really, really experimental and fun.
Was this another awesome label find or?
Yeah. So actually, I think I found out about Slift from Stolen Body Records.
Okay.
I think their first album was on that.
Okay.
I think that's how I found out about Slift, and then I saw that they were doing this thing during the pandemic.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean this album, but the band in general. Yeah.
Yeah, the band. I found the band from
Dead Body.
From Stolen Body Records.
Stolen Body, Dead Body.
And then I saw that they were going to do this thing, and I watched it live, and
nice.
Yeah, and because fucking nothing else to do than in the pandemic.
I mean, yeah,
sit there and watch the internet go by.
I didn't. I don't think I ever participated in any live stream concerts.
Yeah, I was able to watch a few. Satanical Pandemonium did one.
Yeah.
Weed Snake did one. Fucking a lot of bands did.
It was the only game in town. You
pretty
had
much,
to.
Man. Yeah, and Levitation was streaming there, so really. I think just during that whole time, I think it was interesting the way that artists came together to still perform and to still do their thing. Despite how shitty everything was.
And then you find this band that that's like, oh shit, that's that one band from France that they're doing this.
Yeah.
You could have easily skipped over it and not
exactly. Yeah, like how would I else would I have ever have arrived at this band if someone not told me about them, or I saw them open for somebody or something.
That's the only other way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just feel very, just one of those bands I was just very happy about finding. Just one of those cool discoveries. Like, oh, this band's really good.
Is this festival still going on? Levitation?
Yeah, every year they do something. It's all, like I said, kind of in that psychedelic vein.
Right.
Everybody that they bring in, and it'll be at a couple of different venues. It's down in Austin. Some of them play at Stubbs. Some of them play at other nearby venues.
Yeah.
And they do a whole 3-day thing, and they record a lot of it, and they'll make a lot of material like this out of it.
How do they even pick bands for this?
Yeah, that's an interesting question to ask. Is like, how do those festivals pick their bands?
Yeah.
Because I had when I first was working with Satanico, I tried to sign them up for South by Southwest. I did their application. Nothing, crickets.
Jeez.
And then I kind of looked at their roster that year. There wasn't a whole lot of heavy stuff.
Right.
It just wasn't what the festival organizers were into.
Well, that music scene is heavily sponsored now, right? So
yeah, South by Southwest is maybe not the place for underground music that it used to be.
It sounds like
it's going to be like a popularity contest.
I mean, yeah, if you're already here, you're already a little somewhat established, and just need that extra little push.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a no name band from Mexico, the obscure psychedelic doom metal. Probably not going to get picked up.
Probably won't be the first choice, no.
No, I mean, we've heard about labels that throw house parties down there and rent whole rooms and can really and the bands play the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what an amazing idea! Sign my ass up. I will have everybody. But fuck no, the fucking government's in the way. The border's in the way.
There is an imaginary line in the way.
There is a river that divides our two nations.
Yeah.
And presents us a lot of problems when we want to bring our bands up here to play for all you fine folks. And we just can't do it. And I'm never going to fucking stop complaining about it until it changes.
And then, then I think about it, this band didn't even come for this, right? They played this album
in
France.
They played that in France, but they have toured the U.S.
So they have, man.
Yeah, once things open back up, easy as pie a band from France
to
come in and play.
They probably could still come now, to be honest, if they have the right
totally,
citizenship.
Yeah. It's all hooked up. You can get your, European bands can come to the U.S. a lot easier than Mexican bands can, and it's just
finances in the way at that point. Yeah. All right, man. So, all right.
So, Slift is a good note to end on a high note there.
So we ending off in France right now. We're gonna do part 3.
Yeah, we'll pick up.
Any countries you wanna? We're not gonna give you bands. We're just gonna give you countries we're gonna visit.
We're gonna pick it back up with Italy when we come back.
Okay, so we're going right back to Italy.
Yeah.
Just one last question though: are there any Chinese doom metal bands?
Probably, but I haven't heard of any of them. Their internet is fucked up. You know what I mean? So
there's no way you could get.
It's really
they can't
hard.
Get it out.
Yeah, unless it comes out through official Chinese propaganda channels.
Which that's probably not the first thing they're going to promote.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some bands from, kind of East Asia, but specifically China. No, I know there's Chinese bands. They've got artistic expression there. There's Chinese metal bands, but fucking getting their music over here, we're trying to find it.
That's what could be a mission right
there.
Yeah,
that's a mission. What does Chinese doom sound like?
Yeah, we could have we'd spin that whole record for a whole show.
I'd play that front to back for sure.
Break that down. All right. Well, I know that wasn't Europe, but I was that just kind of threw me off or threw me out there because
you had to ask.
Yeah, because the Russian band was in there, and I was just like, well, what else is there?
I left the overhead in the way. I didn't move it.
There's an extra shot. There's an extra piece in the shot, and that other side's a little darker. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're still learning.
Oh well.
Plus, we did this one kind of late, folks. This is.
Yeah. This is the early evening. This is the evening show. I know it's always dark here in the Dune Cave.
Like it's nighttime outside right now.
Our actual time is pretty late. But that's what we do for you folks, for you fine folks. We stay up late.
Stay up late during the week.
Yeah.
And record our podcast and play our records and drive my neighbors crazy.
There you go. That's our Doom contribution for the week. Got to contribute a little Doom.
Okay, we've done it.
All right, we've done it. All right, we'll see you all, folks. Like, subscribe. See you back for episode number 6. We'll do part 3, Tour of Europe, Doom Metal.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, see you next time.
See you soon. Bye.
That's some bullshit, man. That record store ain't got nothing heavy.
Nothing heavy at all, man. I need some real shit, man.
I need something mainline heavy.
Yeah, some Doom. I need some riffs, man.
Drop like an atom bomb
some
heavy.
Doom, dude. I want my mind vaporized. I want to be in outer space right now. You dig it?
Yeah. Hey, I got what you need.
What the hell do you want, spaceman?
Y'all looking for that real shit?
Yeah.
Y'all looking for that heavy shit, that Doom shit?
Yeah.
Y'all looking for those sweet, tasty, sticky riffs that'll totally fuck you up?
Hit me with it, spaceman.
Hit me with that real shit, that Doom.
Check this shit out. Things from beyond, motherfuckers.
Things from beyond.
Things from beyond.
Things from beyond.
Things from beyond. How you feeling now? That heavy enough for you? Got that fuzzy kind of feeling?
Bro, that's heavy. That hits hard.
Yeah, man, that's some real heavy shit. Some real Doom.
Things from beyond, motherfuckers.
Things from beyond!